First one, Zach is starting because there's only one person that could start talking about Spinal Tap. Spinal Tap II, the end continues. Zach, tell us what you thought.
All right, Spinal Tap 2 then continues. This has been a long-rumored pet project of Rob Reiner and Christopher Guest and Michael McKean and Harry Shearer for a long time, at least 11 years. You see what I did there? And the premise of this movie is that Spinal Tap has disbanded. They have not seen each other in at least 15 years, even though it's been 41 years since the movie was made. And now they're doing various other pursuits in life. Nigel is operating a cheese and guitar shop, which Todd cleverly used as his banner today. David is now working. I don't even remember what he's doing. Do you remember? I can't. It's been a few days since I've seen it.
David.
What is he doing?
He's doing music.
Music for the right, and and for the call waiting sort of shit. I don't want to give away too much of the jokes, but and then Harry Shearer is operating a glue shop. It's kind of fun. It's maybe even more fun to sort of talk about what they're doing rather than even watch the movie, because I don't know, it's sort of amusing. There's some callbacks to some of the original characters. You get a few scenes or a few moments with Fran Drescher as Bobby Fleck, the hostess with the mostess. You get Artie Fufkin, the Chicago promoter, played by Paul Schaefer. And of course, you get the great Martin DeBurgi. Now, he might have changed his last name to sound more like a bona fide director, but Marty DeBurgi is prominently in this movie with his hat. Although one does wonder if Marty DeBurgi is doing the obesity drug that everyone is on, because he's lost quite a bit of weight. Ozempic, yeah, sure. So Spinal Tap is reuniting. It is not the Tap Across America tour. They're not promoting another Smell the Glove-esque album, but they're in New Orleans because Stormy Daniels canceled. You saw that joke in the trailer. And it is kind of about the lead up to their reunion concert. In the midst of it, they get a new drummer. They get a new band manager, who's now the daughter of Ian Faith. And they have various hijinks along the way. They have a few cameo appearances also by Elton John and Paul McCartney, who, again, if you saw the trailer, you know that they're in the movie. Well, if you're a fan of Spinal Tap, like I am, this was obviously something that was always going to be sort of fun and amusing. Spinal Tap has done occasional reunion tours or reunion spots from time to time. This is the first time we've seen them in a while, and I will say they look pretty old. In fact, one of my notes was, I don't know if Christopher Guest really looks that bad, or if he deliberately tried to look bad for how David looks, because they all look really old at this point. But I guess that's what happens when you live a hard life of rock and roll. This movie has its moments. It has a few funny jokes. Again, I don't want to say a lot of them, but I did like the finding out about how their life has been updated. And some of their interactions were still funny. This doesn't really feel like a movie. It just kind of feels like a collection of individual scenes that are sort of thrown together. It feels almost like an extra on the DVD or Blu-ray, and it doesn't necessarily merit an entire movie, unless, again, you're a real Spinal Tap fan like I am. Some of the things that I liked about the movie were that you got some cool jam sessions with Elton John and Paul McCartney. And one of the things that I kind of thought about as I was watching the movie is I think the movie might have been actually kind of funnier if it had just been jam sessions. Like, don't give us this premise of a concert or anything like that. Make it like that documentary, It Might Get Loud, where you just bring in other like, Jack White or something like that, or various musicians, and just have jam sessions with each of them, because the Elton John and Paul McCartney stuff is pretty funny. I liked it, although it's probably a little overused by the end of it. It's not particularly a funny movie, but I smiled a lot. I did like the bit with the cheese in his guitar. That was probably the funniest moment of the movie. I like some of the banter and some of the double entendres, like Springsteen going on 17. That was kind of funny, and Hell to Pay was also funny. This movie got a little ruined for me because there was a trailer before watching this movie for a new movie called Fackham Hall. I don't know if you guys saw that. That had the audience in total laughter, and it had
movie looks amazing.
I had never even heard of this movie before. You can't. I went home and tried to watch the trailer again. You can't find the trailer. I guess this was an exclusive trailer just to Spinal Tap. So that's sort of the death knell in a way, because that's like a great, if you're a comedian, it's a great sort of, you're the warm up and you're better than the real show. Interestingly, Bradley Cooper's trailer also looked kind of interesting too. I'm at 2.5 stars for this movie. It's out of love for Spinal Tap. I don't think it's a great movie. I heard a really good remark by another podcaster who said, if you really want a funny Spinal Tap extended universe, just watch the deleted scenes on the original Blu-ray, which is like 3 hours long. I kind of agree with that, but there is enough here that, I don't know, it wasn't terrible. It's along the lines of the Happy Gilmore and Freakier Friday reboots that we've seen this year.
Yeah, I'm going 3 stars on this. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was filled with nostalgia. I mean, there's so many ways you can ruin a sequel like this, and it didn't. It did its best to try and capture the soul of what made Spinal Tap what it was, while also realizing that it's popular now, and so you get to have the big cameos and stuff, and get some other people in there. I was in a theater with one other guy. I was sitting near the front, he was sitting near the back, but every now and then we could hear each other laugh at certain things. And afterwards we looked at each other, we kind of shrugged our shoulders and went, well, that was fun. And I bet that's all I wanted to get out of it. And that's what I got out of it. So yeah, some of the ones that I wrote down as it was going along, Hell to Pay was one of them. In the daytime, ghosts are just rumors. I thought that was a really funny line. Dancing inflatables. I thought that was pretty good. And he's not really a Slim Shady. He's just shady. I thought that was pretty good. And of course, my banner is a cappella rap groups are just shouting threats that rhyme. Yeah, 3 stars. I laughed. It was fun. It was neat to see them back. The music still rocks. Go Spinal Tap. Todd.
Yeah, I was the only one in the theater at a 5:40 p.m. showing on the opening Friday. I was like, yeah, that's not a good sign. It only
yeah, it was 5:30 on Saturday, and it was me and one other guy.
I think the movie takes a page out of Anvil, the story of Anvil's playbook, with like the setting up of the venue, showing how they are like treated like legends by some people, but also most people have never heard of them, and like how they're interacting in their older age. It might remind me a lot of that documentary. But this is absolutely Happy Gilmore too. Like, I mean, it gets the characters exactly right, but it's more goofy. It's overstuffed with shameless cameos of every drummer that you could think of that's a famous drummer. I was like, oh, are they actually gonna get Lars in their band? But no, he's that was just another gag. But it doesn't nail the tone, similar to Happy Gilmore 2 in that way. Like, it's probably more of a traditionally entertaining movie than the original, but it's just dumber. And my favorite part is Christopher Guest. I've always been a huge fan of his, but like he and the rest of the movie are kind of hamstrung by the other characters getting too much screen time. I don't know why Rob Reiner is the main character in this movie, basically. It was super annoying. Harry Shearer also has way too much to do. He should be like Ed the drummer in Stillwater, where he's just like in the background, doesn't say anything, because I think his facial expressions are more funny than him actually talking. And I don't think there's enough actual story to make a movie. Like at least it doesn't like stuff it with flashbacks like Happy Gilmore 2 did, but the runtime is barely 80 minutes here. But there are still some flashbacks, I guess. It's basically a series of sketches of like inside jokes essentially, and like modestly amusing sight gags. It's a strange experience to watch. I mean, I wasn't like hating it. The big bottom sequence was bizarrely unfunny, even though the fart thing was kind of funny. I don't really know what to make of that. That was a weird
farts are
scene.
fun, Todd.
Exactly. I don't disagree directionally or whatever he said. He's like, but this not the right time. But like the first one, this is really short, but somehow it still finds the time to drag. I'm not really sure how that worked, but it did. The concert was fun. They basically become the Lone Rangers by the end, which is kind of cool. The end credits almost save it, so I'm at 2.5 stars. Like, I couldn't quite get to 3 stars, but I didn't hate it.
So I'm the lone one at 3 stars.
I mean, it's probably more enjoyable than a lot of 2.5-star movies. I think the reason why I can't quite get to 3 is I can't remember which one of you said shameless, but in a way, this movie is kind of shameless because there's no new music. There's so many callbacks to the first movie. It doesn't feel like a movie. It just feels kind of like you're rehashing the gags from the first movie that already everybody knows. And I already kind of figured that after seeing the trailer, which the funniest bit in the trailer is this scene, this one goes to 11, that we all know from the original movie. So there's nothing really new there. And what is new is not particularly funny. Again, it's more amusing. It's kind of like For Your Consideration or A Mighty Wind, Christopher Guest, but you're kind of just smiling at it. And it's funny, but it's not like laugh out loud hilarious. And, I just, if they had written original music for it, sure, I'm all on board. But the fact that it's the same music that now I've heard for most of my life, and of course it's great songs. It reminds me, I actually did go back and watch the first one this week, which I still think is
I watched most of the first one too.
And one of the things about the first one, it's just the songs in it are phenomenal. It's absolutely great music. And I'm not even saying that ironically. Like, I listened to those songs. They're great. By the way, this movie didn't have Sex Farm in it. What the hell? That's one of my favorite Spinal Tap songs. But this movie, so what you're getting with that first movie is great chemistry and great improvised scenes of humor, but also great music. This one has so-so scenes of humor and no music. So I can't quite get there with 3 stars, but as an amusing sort of thing, I don't know. I've had a worse 82 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that we would eventually end up with an original Spinal Tap song out of it, and we didn't. But I mean, getting Elton John and Paul McCartney in there to sing some of them, and Garth Brooks, like that was fun to see.
Yeah, the Lars and Chad Smith stuff. I thought that was funny. I wish they had actually performed with them, but I mean, Happy Gilmore is exactly right. It's exactly what Happy Gilmore 2 did.
Yeah.
Although it's at least 35 minutes shorter than Happy Gilmore 2, which is nice.
The one they eventually got as their drummer, the one they eventually got as their drummer looked like if Kristen Milioti was a drummer, and I was trying to figure out if it actually was her, and there's no way it was. Once I saw her start drumming, like, no, that there's no way Kristen Milioti has that secret power in her tool belt.
She kicked ass, whoever that actress was.
Yeah, she did. All right, so 3 stars for me, 2.5 stars from Todd and Zach. It's in theaters, but probably not for very long. It's worth checking out. Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues.